For those of you students that wanted a little bit of help on figuring out how to do these problems tonight as you work through them, I'm going to record just a quick video that discusses how you would walk through them and how you would do a selection of them. I'm going to do number one for you. To do that, when you solve a system by graphing, you have to first set them set them into slope-intercept form, graph both of them, and find where they intersect, and then answer your question based on that. First, this one's y equals -3. That's a horizontal line at -3. At y is -3. So that's that graph. In the second graph, you're going to first solve it for y to put it in slope-intercept form. Get -y equals -2x plus 1. Divide by -1 because it's -y. Y equals 2x minus 1. Start at -1 then, the y-intercept, and then we go up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1, or down 2, left 1, or down 2, left 1. And then you guys are going to graph it using a straight edge, obviously, to see where they intersect, and that's a nice, neat point, -1, -3. Number of solutions, there is 1. Now let's move on as a group to, question number 3. To do question number 3, first we solve them for y, and then we graph them accordingly. So the first one here has a y-intercept of 2. Start there. Then we go up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. We can also reverse that and go down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1, down 1, left 1 as needed. And you guys graph it with a straight edge so that your graph is nice and clean. Second equation, we have to graph that, set that equal to y. So solve it for y first, and then we can work about graphing it. So right here, now I need to divide by -1 to get y by itself. We get y is x plus 2. So we start at +2, then we go up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, which is interesting because it winds up being the same exact line. They're right on top of each other. It's the same exact line. We say we don't have a single solution, but we have infinitely many solutions. Okay, and then let's turn around and we'll follow through and do some of the back. Let's do number 5 on the back. The first statement is that, or let's do number 9 rather. The first statement is that x equals 2y, and then y equals x minus 2. Now we could use either of these because both equations are solved for a variable. I'm going to take the first equation, x is 2y. I'm going to put that into the second equation for x. So I'm going to take that and put it right there for x. We're going to find those. So we get y equals, we're going to put it in for where x was, y equals 2y. That comes from the first equation. And then we're going to solve it from there. We get y equals 2y minus 2. To solve that, bring the y's to one side and the numbers to the other. So I'm going to subtract 2y, so we get -y equals -2. So then I get y equals +2. Now after I do that, I turn around and I substitute that back into one of the original equations or the equation that we changed. I'm going to put this into that first equation from step 1. So we get x equals 2 times 2, which is x equals 4. So our answer then is 4, 2. That's our response. Now I'm going to take a look at the response for, let's take a look at question number 10, just because there's b's instead of x's and y's, and that might confuse folks. I'm going to pick one of the equations to solve for one of the variables. Now you have to notice that the first equation is almost solved for b, so that's one I'm going to take care of. So I'm going to divide by 2 first. b equals 3a minus 7. And then after I do that, that's step 1. Step 2 was to take that equation you just recreated, substitute into the other equation, and solve it for the other variable, or the variable that's left. What's interesting here is when we distribute and simplify, we get 3a minus 3a minus 7 equals 7. And what's going to turn out here is, if you notice, 3a minus 3a is 0, so we get -7 equals 7. That does not match, so our response is no solution to that problem. there's no solution. Those two lines are parallel and they're not going to intersect. Now let's work on tackling number 11 here. Number 11. So that was number 10. Let's do number 11. That's the last one I'm going to do for you guys. The answer key is located on our SharePoint site, and I'll write down that address in a second. But we're going to first pick one of the equations to solve for one of the variables. I'm going to choose the first equation, and I'm going to solve it for x. So I'm going to minus 3y, x equals negative 3y plus 7. I'm going to take that equation, I'm going to substitute it into the second equation for x, and we'll go from there. So then we get 2 parentheses negative 3y plus 7, and minus 4y equals negative 6. After I do that, I'm going to simplify and solve. So I'm going to distribute, so it's negative 6y plus 14 minus 4y equals negative 6. From that, we get negative 10y plus 14 equals negative 6, and we're going to keep solving it for y. Minus 14 on both sides, and you get negative 20. You get y is 2. After you do that, we substitute that into the equation from the first thing that we did. Then I'm going to do x equals negative 3 times 2 plus 7, and simplify. Y equals negative 6 plus 7. X equals 1. So our answer is 1, 2. Now I hope that helped you get through the rest of it. Go ahead and work through the rest of the problems. When you're done with them, you can check our SharePoint site as a class, our class website, for additional answers. It's share.geneva304.org/staff/r-Showalter. Sorry. It's R. Showalter. Hope that helps, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow if we don't have a snow day. Have a good one.